Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany
and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows
like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and more.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Cynthia.
And today we're talking about Season 6, Episode 4, titled Bridge Over Troubled Water. Air date September 22nd, 2008, and the synopsis is:
knowing about his mother's affair with Skills, Nathan tells her to leave, but finds Jamie and Deb miss each other. Of all people she happens to tell, Crazy Carrie. Jamie's insistence to visit Grandpa Dan brings Haley to discover his disappearance and investigates. Brooke seeks counseling now that her mother has stolen her fashion company, then goes to confront her armed. The shoplifter from Brooke's store is in Haley's class. Peyton is delighted to work and spend time with Mick Wolf, who also knew her late mother and biological father. So Nathan is at the river court handling his grief about Q's death by talking with him as if he's still there, practicing with him.
So is this Q's last episode?
Might be, yeah.
Okay, I just wondered.
Mm-hmm. But then, of course, we see the wide shot of Nathan alone in court.
I did like how they were each having some kind of like little memory or something of him, like being there, like a little ghost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, closure.
All three coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so something happens with Lucas at his office and Skills at the apartment, even though he was never there before.
Yeah, that was a little weird though, that one.
Mm-hmm. And then Skills sees the article too about the Ravens retiring and putting his jersey number. And then even Haley sees him outside the gas station where he was killed while driving by.
That was a little weird because I was like, right where he died.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a little creepy.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't really think that I would drive by where that person was killed. I don't know. It was just kind of weird. And then like how he was like standing there. I don't know, because it's kind of close to how he died. So that was a little weird. I thought maybe it'd be in her classroom where she'd like, get like a little shock and people would be like, hello. I asked a question or something, and like that kind of thing. I didn't really think it'd be at the gas station.
Yeah, maybe she couldn't take another road that wasn't near that gas station, and I don't know, it looked like they were kind of signing up as if Haley was going to be maybe haunted by him or something for a while.
Well, yeah, because it was kind of weird, because again, I just would think it'd be the classroom, because Nathan and Lucas was kind of where he would always see them.
Mm-hmm.
Or and Haley it was always the classroom. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was weird, was she gets the gas station.
Right. So then Jamie and Haley are at his grave, and Jamie says his toy basketball on it, which is sweet.
I know, that was sweet, that whole thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Jamie asks her if she thinks that there's basketball in heaven, and Haley says she knows there is.
And then they see Grandpa Dan's stone.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Jamie thinks that Grandpa Dan died because apparently Nathan and Haley said that everyone at the grave at the cemetery died. And she forgot to mention that they could just be buying one.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what she eventually tells him, but she couldn't find the right words to tell him because he was already lost.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of afterthought things they say to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Deb walks into the kitchen where Nathan is, and she mentions maybe she'll get a hello from him next week because he's been avoiding her since the funeral when he found out about her and Skills.
Yeah, and it was weird because he's like, yeah, that's what you told me. And it's like, I mean, she made it a little subtle though. It wasn't like she was like, come here, baby, and started making out with him.
Mm-hmm.
She went over there to comfort him, and that was all I saw.
Yeah.
I was like, if you weren't really a part of that group or anything, you wouldn't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, Nathan.
And then with Dan's headstone too, it said loving husband, brother, and father.
Yeah, he must be going senile.
Mm-hmm.
So how long do you think that was there? Because he's been with Carrie for how long now?
I don't know.
Like, so did he? So he bought this like what the day he found out he was gonna die, like that he
Probably.
had 6 months to live.
Yeah.
And
Probably.
okay, here's my thing: is he? Like for Dan, there's always a lot of talk about like redemption. He doesn't really have any redemption right this moment because he has a great big stone where like Keith's isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if anything, like if you still had remorse and you had redemption, wouldn't you instead pay for your brother to have a bigger one?
Right.
And you'd have a smaller one? I mean, if you're going for
Mhm.
redemption, but I guess if you're dying, what do you care?
Right.
Because you're going to be gone soon.
Mm-hmm. And then Mick Wolf is at Payne's label without her knowing, so she walks in shocked.
Okay, how did he get in there?
I don't know. There's a producer there. Maybe he
Let him
I
in?
don't know. Mm-hmm.
That was my thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Peyton walks in, introducing herself and says she's like a big fan and everything. And then, he says he's honored for having some of his albums hung up on her wall in her office.
So, like,
And
we've never really seen like a producer there, right?
mm-hmm.
Because it was always just Peyton or Haley.
Right.
And even in the future, I don't really recall like producers being in the room
Right.
with them.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just a fill-in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Payne's confused why he's there, of all places. But then we segue to Brooke telling a therapist, she was robbed and attacked at her store. And that's when she takes off her sunglasses.
I was happy that she finally told somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know,
Deb.
yeah, I know she told Deb, but at least she told somebody that could maybe help her.
Mm-hmm. And then Brooke says it wasn't a random act. It was her mother's doing.
Oh my gosh. So when she said that it was her mother, the therapist, you could tell, was like, your mother?
Mm-hmm.
Without saying it, her face was. I was like,
Yeah, her
oh.
eyes got wide, yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, wait, what? Like, huh? Mother? Like, your mother did this to you? I was like,
Mm-hmm. And then at the park, Carrie walks up to Deb, asking which kid is hers, but Deb says
Oh
hers
my
isn't
God.
there. Yeah, and
Oh.
Carrie pretends she's just remembering seeing Deb with the little boy before.
So who said that theirs isn't there?
Hmm?
Did you say Carrie said she said hers isn't there? Or
Yeah.
Deb said hers isn't there?
Yeah, Deb.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I would ask, where's hers?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that'd be my question.
Mm-hmm. So, Deb says that she was actually the boy's nanny until she was fired.
Yeah, and then she gets all into it, Carrie does, about being a nanny.
Mm-hmm.
And how, like, the heart wants what it wants and all this. I was like, really, Carrie?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, why did Deb not ask her, like, who's your kid?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you seem too involved in, like, my life. What's your story?
Mm-hmm.
Because don't people usually do it at the park? They're like, well, which little one is yours?
Right.
So I thought that was weird.
Mm-hmm. And then the therapist asks Brooke, is there any history of abuse in her family? And Brooke says, not unless she considers a high credit card limit and no supervision abuse. And the therapist says, yet she thinks her mother attacked her. So Brooke says she didn't think Victoria did it personally. She hired somebody else, basically framing her to be like the wicked witch. And
Well, she would be if she actually did it. Or, I mean, hired someone.
Mm-hmm. And
so I will say that, like, when she talks about like how Victoria won the company and she won the sketches, I will say it was weird how the attacker wanted the sketches.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that's odd because I wouldn't think that their go-to would be like, where's the sketches? It would be like, let me take the clothes that I can sell.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't be the sketches. Like, so that was weird, especially given how Victoria was just going on about she wanted the sketches. That was weird. I'm like, what person goes into a store to rob it and says, give me your sketches?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? That was weird.
Yeah, they
So
never put in that background.
Well, so that is what makes it a little fishy that, it could be Victoria because she's the only one that really knew about it and wanted it.
Mm-hmm. So then she asks Brooke to explain from the beginning. So Brooke says, just from the beginning or when she fired her. And then we segue to Lucas find out Nathan fired his mom from being Jamie's nanny. And he says, she can pick up the slack. Besides, she was AWOL most of the time anyways.
And that's just always funny, like when Nathan refers to her as Nanny Deb, because it's like, I think she was your mother first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought it was funny, though, was when Lucas said, all these years we've called him Skills. I thought it was to do with basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Nathan's like, that's not funny. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm. And then he brings up about Andy, not being much older than him when he started dating his mom.
Yes,
turned out.
that was hilarious. And he's like, yeah, well, it wasn't your friend. And I love that when Nathan threw the basketball at him. It was hilarious
Mm-hmm.
to like shut him up. And Nathan's like, because he said, well, that Skills could be a better father than Dan.
Right.
It was funny. I will say, like, this is one of my favorite scenes between Nathan and Lucas
Mm-hmm.
because it's just pure comedy.
Yeah. So Lucas tells Nathan he has to get over this by the game tomorrow, and Nathan says he will for Q, but not for Skills. And then, so Lucas says he knows how he is, but the team needs him, and, Jamie does too. And then Haley brings Jamie to the beach house to see Dan, and Jamie is impressed with the house and how big it is, and he tells Haley she should let Dan babysit him so he can hang out there. And then Jamie's the first one to notice about the stack of newspapers right in front of the door, asking Haley why hasn't Grandpa picked them up.
So, yeah, so then, of course, she immediately thinks something happened. Well, so she first thought he wasn't home, and then she opened then the door opened. So then she told him to go to the car, which was a good move.
Mm-hmm.
And she was going to go in and mix in. I thought it was funny when she was like, please don't be lying on the ground.
Yeah, done, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously we don't see it, but obviously he's not there.
Right.
Which, I mean, would make you question, like, where is he?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be like my thing.
Right. Yeah, and with nobody getting newspapers anymore, that's not like an easy way to tell something's wrong too when you go to somebody's house,
Yeah, not nowadays, because nowadays it would be like, I don't even know how you would know if somebody wasn't there.
Right. And then Deb goes to see Skills.
And says that Nathan kicked her out. I will say that's a little dramatic.
Yeah.
You brought your mom, or your wife brought your mom here to babysit your son, and then you go and kick her out. I mean, she didn't have to come and help you. I will say that. So I thought that was a little dramatic, especially because the house is so big. I mean, come on. If you want to ignore somebody in that house, you very well easily could.
Yeah.
So did you think it was a little dramatic, or did you think that it was justified?
No, it was dramatic.
I mean, just wait it out a little. Like, I get the whole you don't want to see them together. But I think the silent treatment was better than kicking her out. And he had those suitcases ready, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah. So Skills offers for her to stay with him since Mount's gone, and she's there all the time anyways.
Yeah, and she's basically no.
Yeah, so she, puts it into perspective for him that she's worked hard to get back into her son and Jamie's lives. So she doesn't want to mess that up.
She kind of already did that. So, okay, so like Nathan kicked her out. So basically what? She's supposed to run back to him and say, we broke up. I'm going to keep living here, or beg for him to keep her there after he already said you're moving out. Like, wouldn't that be something to say? I don't know, before he kicked you out.
Right.
I mean, it's like, that's my thing, is like, how do we know he would like let you back in? He's this upset. Because all he might say is like, you did what you did. Now you got to like live with it. So I'm like, really, Dad? Like, you breaking up with Skills is going to change your living situation? Okay.
And then Deb even asks Skills, what would his parents think of their relationship? And he says that his last year's girlfriend was Bevan. So he's sure that they'll say this is a step up.
That's a little harsh.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what I was to say, considering that Bevan is the one who, he ends up with at the end of the series.
I know. And she's like his age, but it's like, yeah, exactly. Like she's the love of your life because she comes back in the end. Okay, okay, Skills. Okay. Yeah. Plus, when they met, they seemed like they really liked Bevan. So, okay. So now are we trying to say that Skills, like his parents, didn't approve of Bevan?
I don't know.
Is that what we're trying to say a year later?
And then, so Deb tells him that she's almost 20 years older than him. And he says that, you're only as old as we feel. But
he says, you feel right to me. I will say that was nice because, like, especially if you're debating something, it is something sweet to say to somebody.
Yeah.
Well, instead of being like, you just feel like you're like because he could have made it like pervy or something, but he didn't. He made it sweet. I feel like.
Yeah. But she still says for the sake of her family, she has to, they have to end this. And then back with Peyton and Mick, she asks, basically questions about his career. Every, looking back on it and feel fortunate to be a part of it. And he says he supposes so, but doesn't, make a lot of music now because he doesn't have much to say. And, she goes on about his accomplishments, but he doesn't really feel like it's much. And then Payne asks, why did he stop making music? And so he just doesn't feel like there's anything worth any more to do or say. But the session work pays pretty good. So that's what he's been doing. And then Payne asks about her going to lunch with him. And then when she's putting on Ellie's jacket to get ready to go, Mick has like a weird look in his face. So Payne asks, what's wrong? It looks like he's seen a ghost. And he says
said that too. Well, yeah, and then like that's your mom's jacket. You look just like her, and it's like, yeah. And it's also how Mia said, she met someone who knew Ellie. Apparently, it was him.
Yeah, so that was the first hints right there. And then so they're walking out now, and Payne mentions that about Mia telling her that someone knew her mom, Ellie, and but she didn't say it was Mick Wolf. And Mick says Mia's a good kid, good singer, but she's way too young to know who he is. And Payne asks him, how did he know who she was? And Mick explains that when her mom got sick of.
I liked when he said, but I liked when he said that Ellie gave showed him like the CD and stuff. Basically, like things of Peyton. And I was surprised at that because Ellie she died before it really even came out. And who really knew that she was working with them or working with Peyton? So but I was happy that she had a friend to confide in because it seemed like she died completely alone, where she wasn't talking to anybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe she gave Mick the CD before it was like officially, made, like it's like a burned CD or something.
Yeah, like maybe too, like, what do you think?
Yeah, so he thinks that what she wrote about Ellie in the liner notes was just on a CD. So he could say that he's a big fan of hers too. And that's when Payne asks Mick if he knows her dad, and he says he doesn't. He doesn't think anyone knew her dad. And then Haley's at home calling to talk to Dan's doctor.
Okay, that was a little weird. Like, she's calling the doctor. Like, the doctor can't give you any information unless they're on the list. And I highly doubt Dan put anybody on the list.
Maybe, yeah.
So that was a little weird to me. Like, at the end when he calls, it's like, why would the doctor like tell you anything? Because that's HIPAA.
Yeah, so she just wants Dan to call her back, or the doctor to call her back. And then Skills walks in, Haley asks if he's okay, and Skills asks if Nathan was there, and Haley says no, so he's
Yeah,
safe.
so she has to make a joke about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, why does everyone think it's a big joke? And then Haley said that, Deb's done a lot of wacky things in her life. They didn't think he'd be one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's when Skills says, this sounds crazy, but he has feelings for her. And then she still isn't taking it seriously, so she asks Skills how many years does he think Deb has left.
That was rude.
Mm-hmm. So Skills just wants Haley to talk to Nathan for him, but Haley says she doesn't want to get in the middle of it. And Skills brings up how they, have always had each other's backs, and she tells him she'll see what she can do. But he should man up and talk to Nathan himself. Yeah, so Haley should understand this kind of situation because nobody took her and Nathan seriously at first.
Nope.
And then back at therapy, the therapist tells Brooke she's noticed that she calls her mother Victoria, so that's when Brooke says that's what, Victoria wanted her to call her when they went into business together. And then the therapist asks Brooke why she went to business with Victoria, and Brooke says maybe she just wanted her to love her. And Brooke asks if that's something she still wants.
She said, I bought a gun.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like how the therapist said it's not uncommon for attack victims to buy one.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you do want to control your situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she says it's fine unless she's having thoughts of hurting her mother.
Exactly. That's when it would go a little too far.
Yeah. Yeah, so Brooke says she's not. But it wouldn't bother her if she was dead. So she asked the therapist, that can't be healthy.
I was surprised she said that because I was like, especially coming after the therapist said, like, I hope, you don't plan on using that with your mom. And then she says, well, I wouldn't mind if she was dead. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the therapist says maybe she should ask her mother that question. How it got to this. And then during her lunch break, Haley told Nathan that, she calls him Antoine. I think this is the first time she ever called him that, but came to see her to tell Deb broke up with him, and he's pretty upset. Nathan's happy about this, he feels like he deserves it. And, because he's been sleeping with his mom, and Haley says the man who slept with her sister. So she had a point there, because he kept that from Haley too. And then Haley says she remembers the first time she saw him. She was sitting at the deep table, and he was sitting over there at the jock table. And if they had played by the rules of high school, they wouldn't be here at this table now.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, I get it. Like, we weren't the most conventional couple. It's like, nope.
Mm-hmm. And then he's annoyed with Haley. Like, are you going to ever stop making me a better person? She says, not likely.
So when she says that she went to see Dan because Jamie wanted to, I was happy that she brought it up and like told him like, he's kind of went AWOL because she could have just kept it to herself, like I said, like this is between me and Jamie or whatever. But I was happy she told Nathan because like, more people that know that he is missing, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you really don't think he would, do that because he loves Nathan so much and Jamie. So
yeah, so she says that she went, took him to the beach house, and it looked like he hadn't been there for a while. So she asked Nathan when was the last time she saw him, and he said maybe a few weeks ago. But he's probably playing mind games and just at the time told him just to go off and die basically. And Haley says she's worried about Jamie. He's still trying to get over the death of Quinn, and now Dan's disappeared. And I just feel selfish because she knows they didn't want him around, but Jamie does. Nathan says to remember who they're talking about.
Yeah, but it also like the worst parents could be semi good grandparents because they're not with them all the time. It does help to not like be with them all the time. Like because as a grandparent, you can be fun. And as a parent, you actually have to have rules and be strict and take care of them. So it is two different things. Because I have heard of parents that are not really good parents, but they are good grandparents. So I will say maybe he's changing a new leaf, even though he's AWOL.
So Lucas visits Q's family and says hi to Andre, who's in the backyard. And he asks him how he's been. Has he been playing basketball? And Andre says a little. And he asks Lucas if he thinks he could be a Raven someday. His mom says he's going to be as tall as Quentin, at least 9 feet.
I
And
loved what,
Lucas
I loved when
Yeah.
Lucas said, come and see me in 10 years. And I was like,
Mhm.
but wait a minute. It was all cute, but I was like, Lucas, you ain't gonna be here in 10 years.
Yeah.
And then that's when his mom comes out and was like, a little too early to be recruiting him.
Mhm.
It was funny.
And then at school, Sam was caught up in a fight with girls bullying her, and Haley eventually breaks it up. She tells the girls they have detention, and she asks Sam if she's okay, and
Yeah,
congrats
it's
on her
like
first cat fight.
it's like deja vu all over again. So then Haley tries to be nice. Well, she first gives them all the attention. Then she tries to be nice to Sam and trying to bond with her like I had mine in the day, like fights. And that's what Sam's like, I don't really care and all this. And it was funny, like when she walked off and called her Hannah Montana. Because let's see here. Let's see. Now she's being referred to Hannah Montana. Before it was Kelly Clarkson.
Wasn't it Avril Lavigne too? Oh no, that was Kelly Clarkson. No, that was Whitey, wasn't it? I think Whitey's the one that said Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, so Avril Lavigne, Kelly Clarkson, and now Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, because Sam, heard about how she was the cheerleader dating the star of the basketball team and a rock star, so she can't, compare to her.
How rough it was.
Yeah. So then at Brooks, Haley tells her that she found a shoplifter. And Brooke says that she knew that, street urchin goes to Tree Hill High.
And Brooke, So Brooke's got like nothing nice to say about her. Oh, except for only one thing. She has good taste in clothes.
Yeah, Haley sees it as a way that she just wanted to impress the new kids, or, the kids there at the school being the new kid with new clothes. And just, Brooke just tells Haley to keep away from her store.
What'd you think, though, when Haley yelled at Jamie for looking at the mannequin?
Yeah, because that was creepy. Good thing she cut that off. Yeah, it was funny how she said that she'll pluck out his eyeballs because she's pointing at him with the knife that she's using to make food because they're at Brooks right now. And Haley asks Brooke if she sounds like a total bitch, and Brooke says yes, but she also sounds like a good mom.
Yeah, and she wished she would have had one of those.
Yeah, and Haley says Jamie makes it look easy. And he's the most loved kid in the world. Yeah.
So, Brooke has Jamie on his lap or on her lap, and she said, "I wish I had a family like yours." And he says, "You do. You're Aunt Brooke." It was so cute. Like, I love their relationship so much.
And then we segue to Mick asking Peyton if she's okay, and she says, "Yeah." It's just Ellie never said a lot about her father.
Ellie never really said much.
Yeah. And then, so she was hoping that he could tell her. And Mick says he knew, him a little, that, Ellie loved him and he loved her back. And their romance was one of the all-time greats, which meant it was messy. And then Payne says that reminds her of her fiance who would kill her if he lets him leave town without meeting him. And she asks Mick if he likes basketball, and he asks Bobcats, and she says no, Ravens. And then Nathan warms up soup in the microwave.
Why do all these people come into Peyton's life and not give a whole lot of detail?
I don't know.
Like they're like, "Oh, I'm so and so," and it's like cool, and then they don't tell anything, and it's like, well, then go away. Like if you're not gonna give much information, go away.
Yeah,
like that's just a lot, and it's always happening to Peyton. I feel like.
Right.
So this next scene is, I think, one of my top 10 favorite scenes of One Tree Hill because it is hilarious between Nathan and Jamie. Because he makes them the soup, and Jamie is like really like microwave soup, and how Nanny Deb always makes some sliders on game days, and like I thought stuff was funny because like Nathan was referring to himself as Daddy Nathan. And then he asked when's Nanny Deb coming back, and he was like, he don't know. He's like, he can't be honest with him. I kicked her out.
Right.
So when they bring up the whole kissing, Nathan's like, how does it feel? And he's like, I'm fine. He's like, I like Uncle Skills. I like Nanny Deb. So what if they like each other? And he's like,
Mhm.
well, she is my mom. And he's like, yeah, well, I let you kiss my mom. And he walks away. It's like, it's hilarious. I just love that scene so much.
Mhm.
And I love it because like Jamie, like how smart he is, and the fact that he always has these comebacks to say to Nathan, and Nathan just doesn't know what to say to him. And I just
Mhm.
always like walking away. It's like, we need more of this.
Yeah. And then at school, Haley tells her class that tonight's game is dedicated to Quinn, and she thinks it'd be great if they could all be there. So no homework, but they'll make it up next week. And then she has Sam stay behind to talk. So she brings up her paper about Quinn. It was very good, and she thinks she should spend more time writing and less time shoplifting.
So I thought this was weird because it's been what, a couple days, a day at least, since Haley's been to work again, like since the essay.
Yeah.
And now she's gonna pull Sam aside and talk about the essay. I'm like, wouldn't you have done it the next day after reading the essay? Why
Yeah.
would you pull her right now? It's been a couple days.
Yeah, and when they were at the gravesite for Quinn, Haley told Jamie that it's been 8 days since Q died. So yeah, over a week, and now she brings it up. Yeah.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Sam acts like she doesn't know what she's talking about when it comes to shoplifting. Haley tells her to relax because, one of her best friends, Brooke, owns the clothes of her bro store, so she's not going to press charges. And then Haley says Brooke sent her a gift, and she sets a bag of clothes over Bros in front of her. Then Sam tells Haley she's not homeless. She can tell her friend that she doesn't need her charity. But Haley says she doesn't know what's going on with her, but if she wants to talk, she's there to listen.
So is Sam in foster care?
She should be, yeah.
I just wonder.
Yeah.
Or is she like a runaway?
I don't know. If she were a runaway, I don't think she'd be able to enroll herself into school.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Then Lucas walks into the gym and tells the guys to go to the locker room, but they were, standing there watching them put the frame up for Q's jersey on the wall. And then Skills talks to Nathan.
Oh yeah, so Skills was hilarious because he was bringing up like about his mom, like he says, I know me and Deb sound like some freaky porn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe that's how it started. Nathan's just like, this isn't helping, I don't want to know, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
he's like, but your mom makes me happy, and I think I make her happy. And he's just like, I can't with this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It was
just so funny.
Yeah, it was funny before that too when Jamie went to go in the locker room with the guys. He says, "Bye, Grandpa Skills."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Skills tells him, he nor his mom will do anything that's gonna mess things up for him. Nathan says it's a little late for that, and Skills says he's right. He should have told him about it, but he really cares for her, and he'll leave the ball in his court. And then the locker room, he tells the team he knows that they don't feel right playing tonight. Lucas says this, and he gets it. When he was in high school, someone close to him was taken away, meaning Keith, and he couldn't, understand how a game could matter anymore. But his coach was a wise man and told him that basketball was more than just a game, that it had the power to heal them if he, if they let it. And that there's someone else that he would, like them to hear from, and it's Q's mom.
Okay, so this was I have a thing about this whole thing. It would have been one thing if we would have seen this team, their reaction, their friendship of Q. Like they were basically just extras, let's be honest. And they weren't like we invested our feelings to them, right, at all. And only to Q. He was only talking one of the team. And my thing with this episode is like it's so like they keep repeating and like telling us like they're so sad, they got to heal, like they're so sad. And it's like, okay, but you're not letting us feel that at all. You're only telling us. I like we're not invested with these players at all. They don't talk. And in this episode, they should have showed us scenes with the players, just the players, like grieving or maybe getting in a fight with one another because they're grieving and they don't know how to grieve, and just showing emotion that they can't play. You know what I mean? Because like Lucas says, like, or the mom says, like, I know you guys like feel like you guys are like betraying him or something. And it's like, but we've never seen that from these players at all. And like, you can't just throw extras in there and then tell us as the audience, like, they're so close, they're grieving. No, I need to see it. Right now, they're just a bunch of extras.
Right.
Like, again, I would have in this episode, I would have liked to have a couple scenes again of them actually showing that they're sad. And then that's it. Because all we hear is like coaches talking and then them just staring like, And it's like, what?
Right.
Like, because they don't speak. So, because at least when Lucas lost Keith, there was emotion. We were invested in this team. We're not invested with these people. And so I just feel like for this episode, especially given it's about Q and the loss of Q, we should have seen that.
Right.
Not just about the adults in the show, because like, yes, it's obviously about them. It's their show. But if you're going to give us a storyline like this where it involves the basketball team, then we need to be invested with this basketball team, which we're not. So I just would have liked it a whole lot better if they would have made us feel a little for the team. Because I don't feel anything for this team, honestly. Right. I don't feel like they've had a loss. I don't feel like they really liked Q because I never saw it. Like when I don't see something on TV, I don't believe it. We all know that. So I just feel like it was a touchy subject. And, because, fans love Q. And the fact that that's how you're going to write it, like, oh, you guys, like, Lucas is going to give us a major speech. Well, when Whitey gave major speeches, it's because we cared about you guys. So we cared to listen. But even the players, they're not really giving much reaction to what Lucas or the mom are saying. And I'm like, okay. Like, again, they're just a bunch of extras in a room. Like, I can't with this. Like, we don't know these people's names. We don't know anything about them. And I'm supposed to feel sorry for them? I can't with it. So, again, just, I just wish they would have done this episode differently with the team.
Yeah, they only focused on the coaches or Quinn, and that's all when it came to the Ravens. Yeah,
but then they can't do this episode of, like, you guys have a major loss. So you guys shouldn't feel guilty, and you guys should still play. When have they felt guilty?
Right.
Like at least when we saw Sam get in a fight, at least we saw something again. Like, show us reaction with this team that shows us that they're sad. Remember when Lucas would walk out? Remember, why couldn't we have that of like they're at practice, one of them walks out or a couple of them walk out because they can't deal with losing Q, like something like that would have shown us that these players care. Because then because that was my thing. They get in a fight or one of them walks out or something like that. Then you can bring in Q's mom and make a speech, because then it would be like her trying to help the team. But for her to come in and help these extras, it doesn't do me anything. So that was a loss on the episode, I feel like.
And then remember, originally the writers didn't even plan this out ahead of time because they figured that Quinn would stick around.
Well, they stick around. They clearly planned nothing, because again, this episode should have been written differently. Again, and like, here's the thing: the extras, they didn't need to like really have too much words. They could have just been fighting, and like, and then it was like, you guys stop fighting. I don't know. I just didn't like it of how it was done. Because it was just focused on Nathan, Lucas, and Skills, and it's like, but if you're, again, you can't have his mother come in, make a speech when we don't even know these players.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the mom should have only come in and made a speech with the coaches because they're the only ones we know.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just thought that was a little weird.
Mm-hmm. And then later on, or right now, they also show that they added that patch to and on the jerseys with the letter Q for Q. And
Yeah,
jersey number.
like Keith Scott.
Yeah, like a little patch, yeah. And then Lucas makes no speech in the gym, and he ends up saying that no Raven will ever wear the number 44 again, as long as the gym stands. Quinn and Fields will be there with them, and no one can take his place in the team or their hearts. And that's when Q's mom pulls a string to reveal Q's jersey in between Nathan and Whitey's, and Lucas calls for a moment of silence for Q. And then Carrie ends up walking inside of Nathan and Haley's house.
How?
Gone, yeah.
Do these people not lock their house? And also, when she left, why didn't they change the locks?
Yeah, and have security, yeah.
I don't get this. These people have money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have a security system. Change your goddamn locks when the crazy nanny moved out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't just say, give me a key, because she probably made one. She's not stupid. Like, change your locks. Even like for Brooke, change your locks because Peyton moved out. Like, it's just a secure thing to do, people. If you want to protect yourself and you want to protect your family, change your locks. Like, you know, it's just really annoying. Like, really? We're going to just believe that they're that stupid? And also the fact that nobody's home, of course.
Right.
Also, I have another thing about this episode. I'll get to it when they talk again at the end about with the team.
Okay. Yeah, so Carrie takes some things from Jamie's room, like
all of his pajamas.
Yeah, like when she kidnaps him, yeah.
Yeah, she took like all of them though.
Yeah, she makes you take a lot of clothes.
You don't think Haley's gonna notice that?
I guess not, because she didn't. And then Carrie even wipes the dresser, finding dust and saying like, these people are lost without her. And then she takes Chester out of his cage.
Oh my God. When she walked by and said, you know, like, hi, Chester, I was like it was already bad. And I was like, please don't do anything. Please don't do anything to him. Then she opens up the cage. I was like, no, don't hurt Chester. And then she picks him up. And I was like, I can't watch her with this anymore. Because what did the bunny do to her?
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah, she even tells him that it's good that, you know, he can't talk or else that he would be her dinner tonight.
Exactly. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, so, but we don't see if she puts him just right in the cage again or like, you know.
Sticks him with her?
Yeah. I don't even know if you even see him again after this, but then Brooke goes to see Victoria at her house in New York, and she puts the gun on the table and then sits down and tells her they have some catching up to do.
So this is weird to me. Like, she comes in, Victoria doesn't even like recognize her face. Like, it's not like she walks in and it's like, what happened to you? She waits until like Brooke says something to her, and then she finally is like, well, what happened to your face? It's like, shouldn't you have said that 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, well, Brooke said that she could shoot her, so that was the thing that she had to wait. But back in the game before that, Lucas gives the team a gameplay and leaves a spot open for Q. And then they yell 44 together, and you know Q's mom's there to cheer them on. And then Lucas gets in a fight with the ref, saying that he can't let him play 4 unless the rest of the players are hurt.
Yeah, and Lucas like they're all hurting.
So when did they get disqualified for that?
Well, I mean, I guess not according to the ref.
Yeah.
It's just they're going to be hurting out there because one player on the other team is going to be wide open every time. So you're bound to lose. You know?
Yeah.
And the other team is going to, like, that's honestly, I didn't really believe that score because I was like, that team should have outbeat them by a lot because they had one person every time open. Just saying.
Yeah. So with Victoria and Brooke, Victoria asks what happened to her eyes, and Brooke says if she doesn't already know. And Victoria says all she knows is that her daughter shows up with a gun. And Brooke
Yeah.
says all she knows is her mother had attacked her in her own
And
store.
she's like, oh my God, Brooke.
Now she acts concerned.
Yeah, and then she said, like, did you go to the police? Does anyone know? And then she's like, don't worry, you trained me well. I put the company first. Oh my God.
Yeah, Victoria's just thinking of the publicity. But Brooke says that she was the one that said she could spin it in her favor if she had a drug problem, but she can't spin this. And then Brooke wants to know if Victoria was behind this, and Victoria says she would never physically harm her. So of course that
Okay.
means she would verbally, hurt
I
her.
know. I was like, when she said I would never physically harm you, I was like, what? Like, who says that to their kid? I would never physically harm you. Oh my God. Like, most people would say, like, maybe I would never intentionally harm you. But, like, she just goes, I would never physically.
Yeah, so she tells Brooke that she's paranoid and wrong. And Brooke says someone died last week and she wasn't close to him, but her friends were. But she felt nothing when they were in their grief. She just felt cold and realized she's turning to the person she doesn't want to become, Victoria. And Victoria asks what does she want her to say, that she was a failure as a mother. So she tells Brooke she got everything she wanted, Brooke says except her love. And Victoria says that when she was her age, she dreamed about having a clothing line, business and all that.
But then she just fell in love, and one day one morning she woke up and they got a little surprise.
And
then
she didn't want.
Yeah, I didn't want kids. Wow.
But then I don't remember his name, but Brooke's dad wanted a son more than anything. So of course, when Brooke was born, that didn't make him happy. And then he abandoned Victoria when she got fat, according to her, and had an excuse to jump into any bed he wanted. And when they had Brooke, she made sure that he would never get her son, and she would never get pregnant again, because if she can't have her dream, then he can't have his either. Yeah, so Victoria was just, about how she never got what she wanted, and, everything got bad and worse after she fell in love, and basically told her daughter that neither her or her father wanted her, so that had to be horrible for Brooke to hear.
Well, and also, like, too, saying basically, like, Victoria, because she basically says it, she's basically living through Brooke's life. And I don't agree with those parents. Like, those parents that are, like, pushing the kids, like, you need to go do this. And it's like this sport because I always wanted to. Well, then you should have. But it doesn't mean that your kid wants that, or they force them into acting, or it's like your kid may not want that. Maybe they just want a normal childhood, like not having to like work for your approval because you wanted that. Well, that's not their journey and that's not their life.
Yeah, that happened to Jeanette McCurdy.
Yeah, because didn't her mom force her into acting? Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah. So this explains why Brooke was left alone when she was a teenager, all the time.
Yeah, they didn't want her. Well, and I guess that's why she was kind of friends with Peyton, because Peyton was parentless. So they basically only had each other.
Yeah, so Victoria, confesses that she probably took it out on her a little too much along the way.
You think?
But she should be thanking her for giving her life. And Brooke tells her she does thank her because now she knows it wasn't her fault. It never was. So she tells Victoria she's calling the lawyers tomorrow and she's divesting her interests in Clothes Over Bros, the magazine, the line, everything. And tells her congrats, now she has a company and no daughter. So, yeah. And then back in the gym, the score was 68-61, so the Ravens lost. And then in the locker room, Lucas tells the boys, years from now, the record books will show that they lost. But there's something those records won't show, something that no one in that gym will forever forget, that the 4 main Ravens made the Wildcats fight and scratch and claw for every single second of that win. And in doing so, they showed that a team will always be more important than, numbers.
Yeah, when your grandkids ask, just, say you played hard for Quentin Fields. You did to honor your friend. Okay. Like, again, just a whole bunch more speeches of, like, how they were, like, so close to Q when we never really saw it. So, like, here it is. Like, in this one, the one player finally speaks and he says that they want to play for all season, like the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing that I had an issue with. When Lucas was suspended, he was suspended for 10 games. Nathan said there was 11 left.
Mm-hmm.
If Lucas is back, that means he'd be back for the very last game.
Yeah, that would have
But
been
now,
yep.
right, but now this player is saying we want to play this way the rest of the season. And I'm like, what do you mean the rest of the season?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm so confused. Like, how is it it's not the end of the season? Because like Lucas only had one game left.
Yeah, they must have, let him come back after Q's death, I guess. I don't know. Like,
I don't feel like they would, because I think that the league suspended him. I don't really think the school suspended him. I think it was the league.
mm-hmm.
Because he did put his hands on another player.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a grown man.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just felt sorry for him. They felt sorry for him.
I don't feel like realistically that happened.
Yeah, of course not in real life, but yeah, the show, yeah.
But I was just like, I'm so confused. Like, either that or these writers totally forgot what happened in season 5. That's all I know. Because, like, how do you forget that he was suspended for 10 games?
Yeah. Yeah, so they want to do this for Q. He's their 5th. And then the team walks back.
Also, I'm not going to lie. I was thinking, like, when they were going on about this 4-player thing, and how, it's, it's great that you guys lost for play. I'm like, honestly, Q would probably be laughing at you guys and thinking how stupid you are, because he would want to win.
Mm-hmm.
And he would think you're stupid for not winning. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for not doing everything possible to win.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you're going to just keep losing, like, yeah, that's exactly what Q wants, for the team to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he always said, like, you're going to lose if I'm not on the team. So, like, he always wanted to win. So I just thought that was stupid. Also, I also thought it was stupid because none of these coaches are going to have a job come the next year. Because if your team is losing every game, they are not going to keep you for next year. They're going to get rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to start new with all new coaches. So I was like, that also would make no sense to lose every game and so you can be fired?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Q would want that too. Like,
Yeah.
everything they say they're doing for Q really isn't for Q.
Mm-hmm.
Because Q would not want that. Keith, remember, he would not have wanted Lucas to give up basketball. It's just for themselves. It's not for the person that passed away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the team walks back into the gym where everyone applauds for them, even the other team. I guess because they were proud for them to play like this too for Q. And then with Peyton and Mick, she asks him if he's sure he doesn't want to stay longer to meet Lucas. He says maybe another time, but he's going to do some recording. And Peyton says she just happens to have a studio, so she thought, he didn't have anything left to say. And he said,
Yeah.
there's one more thing.
So she has an empty studio. Shouldn't she get some talent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess now she has Mick, that's enough. And then she brings up again about Mia saying that there was somebody that knew her about that knew about Ellie.
Yeah, she was hoping that it was her father.
Yeah, that he was her father, yeah. And he says that would be something. And then she just says, he'll see her later. And then Brooke gets into a taxi and next to be taken to the airport because she's going home to her family, like Jamie said before earlier. And then Sam is at a school where a bag of clothes from Clothes Over Bros is there at her locker. So, when was that placed there and by who? Haley?
Probably.
This is after the game, so it has to be super late too. So, I think Sam's living in the school, isn't she? Like in the auto shop or something?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think that's where she is right now. So
again, these people, the school has learned nothing and doesn't have security camera, or not security cameras, but like alarm systems when the last person leaves.
Yeah.
So, because if she's moving around, they would know.
Mm-hmm. And then Carrie passes by a picture of Jamie because she's still at the house, calling him baby and that she'll be seeing him soon.
Oh my God, no.
Mm-hmm.
Again, she's still there.
Yeah. In the back of the gym, Nathan tells his mom that he wants her to move back in. Jamie's been through a lot lately, so he needs her. So she says thank you, and then he
says he just don't want to see it or hear about it.
Yeah, about skills, the relationship, yeah.
So he's thinking that she's gonna be like, okay, son, like I love you, I choose you. Nope, what does she do? She walks right over to Skills. It was hilarious, and the look on his face was like, really? It's like, what did you think she was gonna do? Really, Nathan? You have met your mother before, right?
And then Haley gets a call from the doctor, and they had a heart for him, but he never answered their call. And Nathan says, so he's really gone off to die. And then the next morning, Nathan is at the river court where he still sees the ghost of Q. And that's when Skills walks up and saying he knows he was working with Q on his game. So he asked what they were working on, and Nathan says Q to him that he can never go left. So Skills says maybe they can work on that and start there. So yeah, so he's basically offering to help them with what Q was doing, which was nice.
So for me, the high of the show or this episode was I did like Q's mom and little brother in the show. The low, Nanny Carey being in the Scott house, it was creepy. What about you?
Yeah, my high was Nathan letting Deb come back and move back with him, and then basically giving permission in a way to let Deb be with Skills, and then
but how are you gonna give your parent permission?
Yeah, and then Skills offering to help Nathan with his game like he was at the end, because he was going to do it alone otherwise. And then my high, did I say my high? Yeah, Skills, yeah. And the low was with Peyton, because she tried to ask Mick if he was her father, but he was just avoiding the whole subject altogether, even though it's obvious that he is her father. Yeah.
I would rate this a 7.5 because I would have given it higher if we would have had more interaction with this team and they weren't just extras to me. Because again, all the speeches really meant nothing. It would have only meant something if Q was in the room.
Right.
Because otherwise it didn't mean much.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have the ghost show up there too. Yeah, I would say like a 7. It wasn't really that interesting.
So I guess I was being nice there.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice for them to honor Q, but yeah, it was just, could have been better.
So for me, the worst was Victoria for saying she never wanted her. And then the best, I'm gonna go with Skills because I liked that he was gonna give Deb somewhere to stay, and that he tried to talk to Nathan, and that he was helping Nathan in the end. What about you?
I just put best for Lucas because he was helping his team move forward with Keith's passing, because he was taking his experience with Keith. I'm kind of surprised he didn't mention Jimmy either, but and then he was just well, he didn't, that's really all he did in this episode, but yeah, it was just a big thing for him to do with being so new still to coaching and dealing with that. So yeah, and then the worst is Victoria for the same reasons.
Yeah, she's just evil. I was gonna I would have said Nanny or I was Carrie, but should do too. We know what she's about to do. Obviously, if she had done it in this episode, then she would have been. But she's only just taking his thing. It's still weird. I can't with her.
Breaking and entering too.
Yeah. And then what's the next episode?
Episode 5. You've dug your own grave. Now lie in it.
Oh, dang.
Which sounds like something about Dan, maybe.
Exactly. All right. Well, maybe the storyline is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. All right. Thanks for listening.
Yep. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would appreciate it.